Hi, this is Jim Lyon, the host of the All That to Say podcast. Before you dive in today, be sure and subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you can catch all of our fearless conversations.
I was born in the Dayton, Ohio area, and so grew up in Ohio and in California, and then ended up at Ohio State, where I was studying international relations, while I was also going very deep in my own personal journey in terms of my own sense of call. I was serving and leaning into campus ministry groups there at Ohio State. Felt a sense of call to seminary, moved to Chicago, Illinois with my wife, Sarah, 2 weeks after we graduated from university. And thought, well, that international relations degree I had with an emphasis on, development and peace and these things called the Millennium Development Goals, that will just sort of be a nice part of my bookshelf in my library, because I didn't quite understand how a pastor could be involved in these kind of big global initiatives and concerns. And surprise, surprise, pastors, rabbis, imams, they are, because we are we fill a unique need, I think, here in this country and around the world when it comes to faith-based communities. And I think that's part of what I bring to this role, this real sense of understanding what faith communities are, what they do, how they're, we often talk about going the last mile when it comes to fighting malaria, or when it's about getting vaccines distributed around the world. Well, we know that faith communities are already there in that last mile. So it's a matter of finding those trustworthy, trusted leaders that are on the ground, embedded in their communities, as I would say, loving their neighbor as themselves, and in their own traditions, ways, looking to serve the greater good. So that's how I think about it, and that's how I got here.
So let me just do a little précis of what I think I heard you tell. Active listening. You grew up in Ohio, went to Ohio State, had some kind of interest in international relations and the big world outside, but also are developing a faith journey and understanding what God might be calling you to do in your own management of your adult life and trajectory. That leads you into the ministry. You're not sure how those two connect, and voila. Well, I know it's not so simple as that.
There were a few things along the way. Maybe I could share one story along the way.
All right, sure.
When I was in seminary, I had an opportunity to come to Washington, D.C. the first time. And I was asked, some might say appointed, to go serve at an advocacy group called Bread for the World, which is
I know Bread.
One of those, Bread's doing incredible things. I know Joanne Lyon's been on your podcast. Joanne Lyon's a friend of Bread for the World. So I got this opportunity to learn what faith-rooted advocacy and action looked like on Capitol Hill while I was in seminary. Most of my colleagues were learning how to do weddings and baptisms and preach sermon series. And so I took a leap, and I said, I want to try that, because I think there's something here for me in terms of how I can live out my vocation in the world. So I went to Washington, D.C. I learned from an incredible Catholic community organizer, Kathleen O'Toole, who helped me see how my faith could be applied in the public arena. Learned from David Beckman, who's recently retired from Bread for the World. And I just got this real sense of identity from that. Clarity of my identity and sense of purpose. I've always felt like a pastor. I've never not had that kind of energy or sense of clarity in my role, but serving there helped really kind of expand my sense of what faith leaders could do in the world. And so from there, I went and served a church in Chicago. Then I came back to DC, worked at the One campaign with Bono and this incredible array of people on the right and the left to fight global AIDS. Went back to ministry in Portland, and now find myself here. So it's just been a real journey that's been full of so many learnings, and so much that I feel like I've gleaned more than maybe I've given. And my sense now, a real sense of purpose now, is to wake up every day focusing on how we can build back better this planet that's struggling amidst the COVID pandemic, that's facing a real climate emergency, that's facing division and democracy backsliding around the world. And how can I help be part of that healing and leadership, and then get out of the way and make sure that those in communities around the world are able to, with their own dignity, flourish and provide leadership.